What I was thinking for this evening was to talk about how the week was with you guys for out-of-body experiences. Any questions you might have, and talk about an experience I had this week with setting intention. I might read a little bit from the book I wrote, 1 or 2 chapters, and I'm thinking to be on for about an hour. And I got my iPad plugged in, so we got plenty of power. And if anyone wants to, we could do some Skype also. I'm looking at, I've got my computer on also, and I can see any questions that come in on the chat here on YouTube. And I can check Discord for any questions that come in through there. I think I'm also on the on Discord. If you go to the voice area, I'm also streaming by voice on Discord. So you can listen over there too if you don't want to listen on YouTube. Pretty awesome. Found that feature today. It's on the voice channels. If you go to voice channels in the Discord, the Out of Body Journal Chat Discord channel. Great. Maybe there's there may be that one person on there might be me. I don't know. But if there's someone watching this right now, you can say something and whatever. I'll know you're there. Okay. Great. So I'll start out. Just a little bit about me. I had my first out-of-body experience in 1996, and that my first thing was a sleep paralysis. And over the next 5 years, I went as far as you could go in the out-of-body world, as far as subtle awareness, and now it's 2019, so it's been about 6, 7, 8, 9, about almost 23 years, or maybe equal 23 years since my first experience. And I've got stuff to share with you guys if you have any questions. And that's it. We'll go from there. One of the things about out-of-body experiences, once you can do them, is to set the stage for an out-of-body experience. Meaning, it's not just a one time when you're laying down or getting ready to go out of body that you'll have an effect on what happens. It's also the days before having that experience, and the time and the thoughts you have in preparation for having an out-of-body experience, setting the stage. And if you think about the whole world or the whole universe or all the people that have ever existed or the whole creation, you can ask a question of the whole creation and then be open to an answer, whether it's through an out-of-body experience or through a thought that moves through your mind. So setting the stage, or it's the intention of what you hope to learn or gain from your whatever information comes through. You can set the context or set the, where do thoughts come from? That's a good question, Jared. Well, I think we have our own thoughts, and then other beings and other people have thoughts too, and they can place them in your field, and then you can have that thought. Thoughts are like energy, balls of energy, or they probably have all different kinds of shapes, but thoughts are energy, whether it's a new thought or an old thought, it can be new for you when you have it. Maybe you can sense whether it's a new thought or not. It's a good question. If you have any thoughts around that, let me know. You can write something and maybe we can go further. On the Discord, there's I just want to say it again, there's a voice channel on Discord where you can talk also. So it's new to me, but we could try it out today. I'm also streaming live on the Discord channel too. So, setting intention for a leaving yourself open. If you want to find something out, this happened for me this week. I wanted to make a decision about something, and I was thinking, why would I do such and such? Not related to this show tonight, but I wanted to get some information, some guidance. And in the past, I've had guidance out of body in my second and third years. I relied on information from other beings or other people to help me decide on certain things. And this week, I wanted to know a little bit more, and for like a 3-day period of time, I did certain things, and I held certain thoughts in my mind, and I also went to bed early, and I gave time for myself to dream or to be in the state where I could get information, or just I was paying attention, and I had an amazing experience where I was being taught and shown out of body about a certain future direction of my current job, where I wanted to potentially go. I was thinking before that it might be a good idea for me to do such and such, and I got like a picture of me in this other. I could just tell you, I work as a surgical tech right now, and I was thinking about going into nursing, and I had a lucid dream where there are these people that I respect were showing me in a new position, interacting with children or kids. It may have been rehabilitation or something else, where I was with a bunch of they put me in this area with these kids, and I was helping them to recover from surgery, or to get prepared for surgery, or maybe some ADHD or thing. I don't know what it really was, but it was showing me that nursing in that area was going to be good for me, which was great, because I was thinking about doing something in that area, but I hadn't had a solid view of what area of that to go into. So I like, it was about 2 or 3 days period of time where I was wondering, and then I had this experience in this lucid dream, or it could have been an out of body or whatever, but it was very clear to me what was happening, and I was being taught, I was being shown something. I'm gonna go check the YouTube for a sec. Yeah, so Jared, thoughts just, I think we create thoughts, and where thoughts exist, thoughts exist in the brain, but they also exist around the body, because I've been out of body, and I've, say, within 10 feet of the body, turned around and saw these things spinning around the body, these globs of things spinning around the physical body, and I was out of body. And then I touched one of those things, and I knew it was a thought. So this thing that was spinning around the body was the thought. And then I've seen it around other people's bodies, these things spinning around. In a second out-of-body experience, I saw this thing spinning around this person's body, and I touched it, and it was a thought. So I knew it was. I knew what it was. So thoughts exist in the body, but they also exist, out of the body as energy going around. And people write about, downloads of thought and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's a lot there that I can learn, and if you have any information or whatever, share it. you know. So that was a good lucid dream experience, or a good experience I had involved with setting intention. So I just want to share that. For memory, intelligence in its own way. Yeah, the body, the physical body, has its own, memory, and probably I don't know anything about genetics, but maybe there's some kind of memory over eons of time, in the physical body. Out of body, I've turned back and seen the physical body, and I've seen all the different the energy of the cells. I've seen that too, like. The Hindus talk about the nadis, or the little dots of energy all along, the cell. Yeah. Yeah, I learned about, I studied it in a basic way for the surgical technology and stuff like that, anatomy, physiology, and microbiology and stuff. But no. I don't know about sequencing or anything like that. I know some of the basic stuff, and there's epigenetics, where you can influence the genetic makeup of your body by your thoughts and what you do. I believe in all that stuff too. And then some people talk about, maybe there's more than 2 strands of DNA. Maybe there's multiple. And interesting stuff. So I was also thinking about reading. Yeah, very good. You liked it. Cool. I don't know if you guys have any stuff about your week that you wanted to share, or any direction of talking here. If you have any anything you'd like to go down. I was thinking about, I could read from the book, one of the books I wrote, and I could also go over some of the news like I did last week. Maybe I'll read the introduction if anything else comes up. We can look at some other stuff too. Eventually, I think I'm going to record this on kind of like a professional audio. But anyway, The Golden One, an out-of-body book. I wrote this in 2017. And I was going to start with the introduction and go from there. Maybe a little bit each week. Okay, introduction. The impact of having an out-of-body experience is game-changing. Before that, people are skeptical about whether there's life after death. I wrote this book. They wonder if there's any possibility of having awareness beyond the body. People conceptualize that the brain contains all the memory and the individuality, and for someone to believe that you could have thought outside of the body, for many people, seems spectacular and unbelievable. So what I'm getting at there is the brain. They say the brain has your complete being, and it's everything is in the brain, and then when you die or when you go out of, how could you go out of body, because all of your information is in your brain. But that sentence there, I was just saying that people conceptualize that the brain contains all the memory and the individuality. But when you're out of body, you can have a greater memory, even beyond your personal life. When you're out of body, you can have memories of things that you never experienced or thought about while you were alive in this body. So I've been out of body, and I've had thoughts that, me as Paul, they're not really my thoughts, but I remembered these things, So, and then, if you're out of body, then how can the brain have all your memory? How can the brain be your source when you're having thought outside of the body? For someone to believe that you could have thought outside of the body, for many people, seems spectacular, unbelievable. But with the simple act of having the out-of-body experience, whether through intention or through an accident, those beliefs quickly change. Because if you're in an operating room or have an accident or spontaneously go out of body for some reason, and you rise above the body and view what's happening in the room, or go outside of the room or wherever your physical body is on the floor, that experience quickly and rapidly changes your worldview. Then you have many different questions. So have you ever been out of body would be my question to you tonight. For me, my first was in 1996. For me, I was in college. Yeah, if you have any questions about where you're at, also tonight, just post them. For me, I was in college and I experienced sleep paralysis early in the morning for about a minute. And I thought maybe someone was strangling me. So that's not an out-of-body experience, but I learned about out-of-body experiences. And a few days later, when I came, you're everywhere, but also when I came across, let me check the thing. Okay. Yep, I'm everywhere too. I have I can read things on my phone too. Let me see. So you've experienced that thing about being everywhere. That's awesome. Yep. I know what you're saying. Okay. Okay, I can see the chat on my phone now. No reason to run. Great. Yeah, so non-local event or intelligence. Yeah. And then what is the I, you know? The local version of the larger being is the I is what I've been calling that, you know. And then awareness of that fact is would be awakening. I'd call that, you know, because then you're an aspect of you're one of the many, and the many is the one, and so that's you know, you're an aspect of the many, and of the one, and the many are an aspect of the one. Okay. I thought, okay. So the Art Bell radio program was a pretty good radio program. Art Bell died. Yeah, fractal reality, that's it, yeah. Because there's multiple dimensions and you can be awake and alert in any one of them. And also every cell has a perspective. And, you know, every being is an aspect of that also. There's a so Art Bell was an awesome guy. You ever hear him, Jared? You ever listen to Jared, Art Bell? He was an amazing guy. In the late '90s, I used to listen to him early in the morning, and he used to interview all kind of people. Yeah, Jared, if you ever want to talk on Skype or something, that's you know, or here or some other way. It'd be if you have knowledge about oneness and all that stuff, or experiences of your own to share. It'd be awesome to listen to what you have to say. But for sure, keep posting here, and we can keep chatting about all kind of stuff. So the Art Bell Ready program led me to a lot of different people. It also led me to the Monroe Institute and the books by Robert Monroe. And that kind of helped me in my out-of-body stuff. I read a lot about other people also. So I started meditating. I got into Taoist books and practices. They talk about the dantian and the different kind of energy centers, similar to how people in like the Hinduistic and other New Age kind of people talk about chakra centers. The Asians also have that same kind of thing going on. So I read a bunch of New Age books by people like Jane Roberts and Robert Monroe, and then it took me a while. It took me about 8 months until I had my first out-of-body experience. But I tried every day. You know, I listened. I tried to learn all kind of stuff, and I read different kind of books. So it took me a while of intentionally trying to have an out-of-body experience to have one. And I believed that other people had had these experiences, and I'd heard about an out-of-body experience, but after my first sleep paralysis experience, I hadn't had an out-of-body experience, but I believe they could exist. If I had this sleep paralysis thing that other people had that I believe that, well, if they're having these and also having out-of-body experiences, I thought, well, you know, for sure, out-of-body experiences, there's a good likelihood that they were true. So I was obsessed with having an out-of-body experience, and it radically shifted my worldview and my understanding of the capabilities of the human body and what's happening in the world around us and around me. So I'm doing this talk to kind of share with other people who might be starting out or getting interested in it, but also people who are much further along, and then also just to have a kind of a community of people who have experienced things like what I've experienced and are just enjoying life. So there's like physical enlightenment, which is just having a calm life and having family and being happy. I would call that the enlightenment of the physical world. Then I would call there's like spiritual enlightenment or energetic or subtle enlightenment, which would be like the oneness, and I call that the third stage of out-of-body experiences. So yeah, cool. So I'm just reading from one of the books I wrote. Yeah, Hemi-Sync. That's right. Yeah, I got into Hemi-Sync in 1996. I live near the Monroe Institute now. I took about 10 programs from them over the years, and I've studied with a few other people also. Hemi-Sync was one of the biggest things for me to progress. You know, it's good stuff. So I'm reading from the introduction of this book and also answering questions and talking with you also. The out-of-body experience began Robert Monroe is awesome. I met him out of body a couple of years, maybe 4 years after he died. I didn't know about him when he was alive, but I think he died in 94 or 95. I had an out-of-body experience with him in like 1997 or 8, and he congratulated me. He said, like, good job, you're doing awesome, kind of thing. So he shook my hand. We shook hands. Pretty awesome. So one of the, in addition to out-of-body experiences, there's this thing called Vipassana. A lot of people, it's a Buddhist thing, and it's you can go to this program that's taught all over the world and even all over the United States, Dhamma.org, DHAMMA.org, and they do a 10-day retreat where 20 to 40 people commit to go into it for 10 days. And you can go for shorter, but it really takes at least 4 days to get into it. And what they have you do is throughout a day, for 10 days, they have you sit down for like 2 or 3 hours at a time with like 40 other people. You get up early in the morning, around 4 or 5 in the morning, and they wake you up, and then you do like 2 or 3 hours of sitting, and there's some guidance with that, and they break it up. You can have breakfast. They give you breakfast, and you meditate again, sitting, and they have cushions and different things for you. But I avoided that for almost 20 years. I didn't want to do that. It was crazy from a comfort standpoint. But what that does is, in the first 3 to 4 days, they have you focus on your nose, right? On your nose and sensation, and there are a lot of nerve endings that end around the nose. So what they do is they have you focus in that area, and that stills the thoughts that are going around your body. And it takes about 3 to 4 days to still all these globules of energy that are spinning around the body. And on the evening of the third night and the fourth day, they have you begin moving through the body with your awareness. And that's when stuff really starts to happen, or it did for me, because I guess my body had been energized so much up to that point where this was in 2014. I did my first Vipassana 10-day retreat, and it's like I was having out-of-body experiences, but while being in my body. I didn't think I could have those kind of things, like an out-of-body experience or that kind of energy in the physical body. So I recommend checking that out, that 10-day. Does it feel like the energy you use while in a lucid dream? Or, yeah, like the energy you use in an astral projection, for sure. And what was cool is that I'd be sitting down and like my calf, my right calf would start to twitch. And that would I could intentionally move that forward and make it twitch more. And it would activate all the energy in my body. Yeah, so Shmorgus one. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then I'd never experienced anything like that before, but I never sat like that long before either. I guess all kind of stuff happens. And then I also experienced like you can your heart. You can feel your heart expanding, and your heart moving, like breathing. Your heart breathing. And then I could also feel like multiple hearts. Maybe a bunch of us in the room had connected energetically, and our hearts were beating together or something. Yeah, I think it helps you astral project easier too. Yeah. Because for something like that to happen, there has to be some kind of alignment. So I would say astral projection is one side of the picture, and the other half is like a Vipassana or a 10-day or some kind of long-term sitting. But what's cool about going to something like that is you get all the group energy that you would get from, say, if you went to a 7-day Monroe Institute program, six days, maybe 6-day Monroe program. You pay $2,000 for that. It's about how much it is. But if you go to the Vipassana thing, they don't charge you anything. And if you want to donate something afterwards, or they also, if you want to serve a program in the future, they like that too. So say you do the 10-day program, and then you say, okay, I don't want to donate any money, but later on, if you were open to it, you could, they have people that make the food and wake people up during the program. So you could be one of those people and not do the meditation, but you could attend it. And that would be like you're giving back for the next group of people. So, DHAMMA, Dhamma.org. Cool, great. Just putting the word out there to encourage people to also check out some other stuff besides just the out-of-body stuff. And there's a lot to... Okay, so for astral projection or a Monroe thing, or I think the Esalen Institute also does stuff, and then there are other people around the country who do kind of out-of-body stuff. When you go to those things, you get a group energy because the intensity and the intention of the people who are there with you and the experiences that they share kind of create space and kind of increase your vibe so that you're more into it also. So if you went to like one of those Vipassana things, you have at least 30 to 40 other people who are creating that energy and raising the energy. So there's check it out, if you feel called to it. So as you add to your knowledge or experience, piece by piece, you'll more easily be able to discern other areas of probable truth. So once you learn that the out-of-body experience is true, if someone says it's not true, then they're missing a piece of information. But if there's someone that says it's true and this other thing might also be beneficial or true, then for me, that's what I'm getting at that sentence in the book. As you add to your knowledge or experience piece by piece, you'll more easily be able to discern other areas of probable truths. And this book is meant to expose you to many concepts and ideas that, if investigated, are likely to produce beneficial results. So, all right. Chapter 1. The 3 stages of out-of-body experiences. So, there are 3 stages of out-of-body experience, meaning what you're captivated in doing at different times of your progress through the out-of-body exploration and self-discovery. For me, this is how it progressed for me, and this is how I summarize what was going on. In the first year, or in the first phase, it's meant about trying to do it. Okay, say you have an out-of-body experience, and it's really short, or you just get so excited that it ends pretty quickly. And for me, it was about doing it as often as I could to prove to myself that I could do it again, and it was really real, and just experience it because it was so exciting. So, meaning you read about out-of-body experiences, or you happen upon them, or something happened where you were exposed to the concept or to the experience of out-of-body experiences. Okay. So the first phase is about learning to go out of body. But when you go out of body like that, you usually don't go anywhere else. It's about getting out of body. So for me, I tried to have them as often as possible and to replicate the experience to prove to myself over and over that yes, this thing happened, and yes, I can do it again, and yes, it's real. Alright, so my setup for an out-of-body experience at that time was to lay down on a bed in a darkened room. So I blocked out the lights in my windows, and I got most of the electronics out of the room except for a tape player at the time, and I played different binaural beats and I had headphones on. And the idea about listening to binaural beats is to maintain your awareness without falling asleep. So it's like mind awake, body asleep. You want to relax as much as you can without any other distractions in the room, and if you can block out the light or turn the lights off, then that's a really good thing, because then it helps you enter a state of no thought or kind of still, because when you think, there's a way to think where you don't use your brain, right? Meaning that there's different muscles in the head and even in your eyes. So if you're thinking and you're moving your eyes, you're kind of keeping yourself in your body. So if you can relax and maintain awareness but don't think, that's kind of what that's getting at. So, and pay attention to the energies around the body, and see if there's any wavering of the energy. If you sense anything around, if you can pay attention to underneath the body, underneath your back, against the mattress, and see if you lose awareness of where your back touches the mattress, lose awareness of that boundary. Or where one leg touching the other leg next to each other. If you lose the awareness of the difference between the two legs, then it's just an area of energy. So that's the kind of stuff you want to start to pay attention to when you're relaxing. Different change. Okay. If there were any swirlings of energy or on the arms or the legs, and notice if anything happens. And I did that for hours and hours for many months. And what this does is it kind of it teaches you to look at those things, and also to I think it charges your bodies. It works with the bodies. Yeah, you too. Yeah. So I had a couple experiences where I got out of body, and the first 2 experiences, separated by about a week, I was a ball of energy, and I rose from my just below my belly button out as a ball of energy. And so the Taoists call that like the dantian, and you raise out from just below the belly button out as a ball of energy. And that happened for me, so it's pretty awesome. So in that first year, I tried to repeat the out-of-body experience as much as I could, and I also tried different ways of laying down in the bed. I tried Yeah, it helps charge your astral bodies. Yeah, in a way. And there are many bodies. There's the even the etheric, the energy of the cells. The etheric. Some people call it the etheric body or the pranic body. This charges any kind of sitting or intentional stuff. It charges that kind of stuff. And so I laid on my side, or I laid down on my stomach, and I changed the direction of my feet. And sometimes they would be pointing north, and my head would be pointing south. So I tried all the different kinds of laying down on my bed to see if that would change my ability to go out of body easier or anything. And sometimes when you get out of body, you're not fully out of body, or you might just have an arm still in your body, or your head might still be in the body, and the rest of your feet and everything might be above, okay. So partial out of bodies, and if your arm is out of body, you might bring it in front of your face and see the non-physical hands in front of your physical eyes. So your arm might be out of body, but you could see it through your physical eyes, your hand, your non-physical hand. So you might partial out of body. So that's the kind of stuff that I call the first stage of out of body experiences, because you're still kind of working around the body, and even you're in your room or in your house, you haven't gone out, you haven't met any other beings, you haven't gone into the sky, That's first stage of out of body experiences. And on Discord, I put an area for first stage experiencers, or first stage out of body experiences, and then I have a second channel in the Discord area. There's also a page. There's like a web page I created for out of body journal. If you have experiences of your own you'd like to post or showcase or whatever, we can. You can add an area, a section, and just share your stuff with people. So there's 3 stages that I created. The second stage is when people finally leave their house and go out into the world and meet other people, other beings, other energies, and exploring. So I'm gonna probably finish this chapter and complete it at I've got another 3-4 pages, and then we'll go from there. So second stage, people finally get out of their house and go and meet other beings, other non-human beings. You leave your apartment, and in the first stage of out-of-body experience, you'd be going through walls, passing through walls and stuff. So you're finally leaving your house and you're meeting other beings. And you've gotten over the surprise of getting out of body, because that surprise, that emotion associated with celebrating is usually associated with moving a part of your body, and that'll bring you back into your physical body. So you have to learn to think and have feelings without connecting those feelings with moving your body. So many times I was drawn back into the body immediately because I got so excited, and that's usually associated with moving a part of your body. So you can explore outside your house. You can go up into the sky. You can go off the planet. You can go to other planets. I've been to other planets. You have to learn to get over the fear, and that's also a first stage, probably a first stage out of body thing. That's a big thing. Fear is a big thing. And then even after that, once you start meeting other beings, there's even some fear of what they might do to you. I had a couple negative, kind of dark being out of body experiences that I met, but I've had hundreds of out of body experiences, and only like 3 or 4 of them were fear. Only about 3 or 4 of them were negative beings, and I came back to my body pretty quickly with that. And the thing about that is, even if you're stuck out of body, if your body will have to go to the bathroom at some point, and it'll bring you back to your body eventually, you know. So there's not, you know, there's not too much to be afraid of there, you know. There's no being out there that's more powerful than you as a spiritual being, you know. Okay. So you can explore different sources of the energy. So every being has an energy. Yeah. Each person is the master of their own being, you know. Everybody's connected to the source, or everybody is the source. And there's no other being that's any more powerful than you are, as long as you claim that power, you know. The astral world and the other levels aren't any different. They're not as limited as the physical body is, you know. You have a lot more capability out of body in those bodies. The physical body has a lot more capability also. So there's something. There's something I came up with a while back that I also have a picture in the book about. I guess I'll show it here. This is the diagram. Okay. Say the center of the circle. That's oneness. All right. And this is the edge is personality. So this is just an example. This whole thing, this whole spectrum is the one, every point along it. So over here is, say, me right now in my physical body as a person with my awareness over here. And then over here is, there's no I, it's just the one, or oneness. The further, the less personality you have, and the closer to just pure awareness. When you're meditating or sitting or whatever, you may not remember everything about yourself, but you still have awareness. And awareness, you're still alert. And the more you can remain alert and be not so much you, not so much your if you can have awareness without your own thoughts, you can be closer to this oneness. So this is like a line, and the two extremes of the line. One point is the person, awaking person, and the other is oneness. And in the oneness, you're aware of everything else, everywhere in the universe. Now, or you can be. I've been there several times. Not more than probably 6 times I've been there. And then beyond the oneness is the one. You can blink out. Nothing will exist but awareness. And that's the one. So beyond oneness is the one. And we can talk about that if anyone wants to. You're going to explore different sources of the energy, meaning a planet has a certain type of energy. So you might go to a planet and notice the disconnect from the planet you're leaving. So maybe the Earth, once you get above a certain distance above the atmosphere, you might notice the energies that are connecting to your astral body are shifting. And that shift away from the Earth into this other energy that you're going to, this other planet or direction, there's like an anchor that you release, and when you go into this other destination, you might notice that. So one time I went out of body and I was above the Earth, and I was going to go beyond the Earth, and I noticed I was kind of losing the energy of the Earth. I was losing the connection to the Earth, and I was going towards this other area, and I decided to back toward the Earth a little bit, and I was at that boundary, and I noticed, I kind of explored that a little bit. So that's what I was saying there. This is more kind of a second stage or level of out-of-body experiences where you're showing up in places. You don't even have to travel to places. You can just show up there if you know where you want to go. Or if you get out of body and you don't see anything, but you feel and you kind of turn around and you feel if there's any pulls in any certain directions, that's another way of going places. And you can even just show up in places. So second stage, you're showing up in places, you're meeting other beings, and you're learning other forms of communication. And you're experiencing telepathy or knowing what someone's thinking. The kinds of experiences you can have in the second stage of out-of-body experiences are infinite, you know. So between those two extremes, between the oneness and the personality, between those two extremes, you know, the experiences are infinite. There's a tremendous number of experiences. You can't, you know, it's infinite. So the number of second stage experiences you can have are infinite. Okay. All right. One experience I had, okay, I'd gotten out of body and I shifted. My astral body rotated. So I was on my back, laying in my bed, and I got out of body. And I shifted backward into the floor, just like you would go through a wall. I shifted backward into the floor, and I was looking at stars. So my head was looking into the earth, but I was seeing stars. You know, I was rotated backwards. So that's one kind of second stage experience. And another experience that came more alert. I became awake out of body. And I was reading a book. There was a book in front of me in some other language, and I was reading it. I guess another part of me knows knows other languages and stuff, you know. And I think we all have this, you know, because here's another experience. I was out of body walking through a town one time, and I walked into I think I was out of body and I was walking around in the physical world, and I went into the shop. And there was a lady there at the register, and she was talking to a customer, and I asked her a question. She didn't see me, but she answered me. So people talk about the conscious mind, and they talk about the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. So that's kind of so what I think that is we're alert at all these levels at once. We're alert on all these levels, but consciously, the Emerald Tablets, yeah, Thoth is great. I love, you know, he's awesome. He also wrote the Law of One by Ra. It's another great series. There was a channeler that brought that through. It was a great series of books. I did read the Emerald Tablets too. Yeah, so that's a good relation. Yeah, so I was reading these books. He was also Hermes. Cool. I have to look more into that. Great. So I'm always looking to see if there's any books that are familiar to me when I look at these other, you know, for sure you guys too. If there's any other languages that are familiar. While I was reading this book, I said, my waking consciousness came in and said, hey, I don't know how to read this language. And what I got was a big shock, you know. I got like a shock, and then I was back in my physical body. Many types of experiences can happen. You can go out and you can learn things, and that's what I would call second stage of out-of-body experiences. It's you going out not necessarily in a shape like your physical body. You might be just a ball of energy, or you might just appear in a destination. You can go places if you remember where you want to go. So before going out of body, if you have these thoughts about where you want to go, you can also, when you get out of body, remember those things and go check some of those places out. And I've done that a few times, you know. Again, this is second stage out of body stuff, where you're using your personality and you're functioning within the universe, within the solar system, within the earth, within the galaxy. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever you think you want to do. You can go find out whatever you want to find out. You can see whatever you want to see. You can meet whoever you want to meet. The third stage of out-of-body experiences is what I would, so we got a couple more pages, is what I would call meeting, and we don't have to finish the chapter today. The third stage of out-of-body experience I would call is reaching the end. You've been a ball of energy. You've gone out, you've met all these different kinds of beings. You've met humans, you've met non-humans. You've met physical beings, beings who have physical bodies, and you've met beings that don't have physical bodies, but are an awareness in the universe. So there are beings out there that don't have bodies. And you can even meet planetary beings, you know, spheres of energy that in the second stage. So you've met maybe planetary beings, spheres of energy. You've experienced different types of communication in all kinds of forms. So after you've done all that second and first stage stuff, there's always infinite more to do in those levels or stage of out-of-body experiences, but it's leading somewhere. And what it leads to is instead of communicating with a being once you get out of body, maybe you've communicated and you've learned and forgotten all kinds of things, and maybe at this point you just observe the energy. And you notice that the energy behind that being, the energy within that being, seems to have the awareness of the energy that's coming out of my being. I'll say it again. The awareness, the light, the thing that's coming at you from that being has the energy, has the life that's coming out of you. It's the same awareness that's coming out of me is coming out of them. It's the same. There's no difference. And it's not like it's the same kind. I'm saying it's the same one. So this is third stage of out-of-body experiences. If you're a ball of energy, then you're not so much having a form. You're not having an arm, a leg, or a head. Right. Sometimes when you're out of body, you have those things, but you need them because you need them, and sometimes you don't. Other times, you're more focused on functioning in the mental plane. So you may have thoughts, right? So that's still kind of second stage, and you may not. So that's kind of the mental plane is where you have thoughts. And it's not so much moving around as an arm with arms and legs and meeting other people with arms and legs or beings. So there's this thing called the causal plane. Okay. There are levels where you can tap into the meaning of your life and things like that. And then you can also wake up in other. You can be merged out of body with other aspects with. You can wake up in other bodies out of body. You can walk around in other people's bodies out of body. You know, so you can pass those second stage stuff. So there's the physical body. There's the etheric body, or there's the physical body. Types of bodies. The physical body. There's the etheric body. There's the astral body. There's the mental body, and then some people talk about a causal body, and so there's many bodies, okay? And you can leave your astral body, and or you can be in the mental body, and you can. Or you can notice a mental body, and you can be in your astral body. You can see yourself just like you can see your physical body from the astral body. Sometimes you can see the astral body from another body. So you can go out of more just your. You can go out of your astral body also, just like an onion. You can leave the physical body, and that might be the core of the onion, and then you have this other body you're functioning within, which might be the etheric, or it could be the astral, or it could be the mental. And as you go further out on the onion, you function in a different body, or you can think of it as going within the onion, okay? Different layers. And there's a level that is maybe the most subtle, and that is when you notice maybe the energy in another being. When you meet them out of body, instead of communicating or talking or showing or doing, you just notice the energy. And I noticed this in my 4th year of going out of body experiences, and it was confusing. I didn't understand, but I did notice that the energy was the same as what was in me. And then I came back to my body, and that happened several times, and it's an amazing experience. Beyond that, through many different ways, whether it's through sitting and meditating and doing Vipassana, or something like they teach in Buddhism, or whether it's through going out of body or meeting other beings and having certain awarenesses, you can notice that there's an energy that permeates the universe that's the same energy that's in you. And this happened to me in a certain way, and I became one with the whole universe. And then the universe wasn't, but us, was. And there was nothing, but it was one. So what this is talking about, in my 4th and 5th years, that span of time was about communicating in oneness, or the one. So if you have a range, so this is the 3rd stage of out-of-body experiences. And that's the, okay, I haven't showed this picture yet. If you have a range of awareness, and you have the tip of your index finger represent you and your physical body, and the first joint in your index finger is your astral body. Okay, I'll do it this way. If this is you and your physical body, this is you and your astral body, this is you and your mental body, this is you and your causal body, this is the rest of the bodies of the universe. So I'll do it like this. This is me and my physical body, the awareness. This is me and my astral body. If this is me and my mental body, and this is me and my causal body, this is the rest of the bodies of the universe. This is your body, but it's all one body. It's all one. That's kind of what the oneness is about. It's not like it's a different being. It's all the one being. So if you consider everything in the universe as physical, even the astral body, if you consider that as a certain type of physicalness. Okay, here we go. The oneness is over here. Personality is over here. It's that same diagram. If every aspect of this is physical, even the astral body is a certain type of physicalness, and the mental body is a certain type of physicalness. In this whole range of awareness of being, it's all one being, but it's all more and more subtle types of physicalness. Even being in oneness and sensing something is a certain type of physicalness. Beyond the oneness is one, is the it. And so even the physical world is part of that being, you know. Because the one body has a physical side to it, and it has a more subtle side to it. At the more subtle physical level, if you think about personality, individuality, awareness as a physicalness, then anything outside of the one, or the energy that permeates the whole universe, anything outside of that awareness is a kind of physicalness. The more you get toward the actual physical world, the denser or the more personality there is to it. Because even in the first stage of out-of-body experiences, you learn to go through walls. And if you think you can go through a wall, then you can while out of body. If you don't think you can go through the wall, then you can't. So that's the end of the first chapter. That's it for today, for reading. I'm glad you joined to chat and all that. And I'm going to hang out here for another 5-10 minutes, and we can chat about whatever. See how things are going. And that's it. There is a oneness and separation create each other in our illusions. Yeah. Let's think. It's like two ways of seeing the same thing. Yeah. Duality. Is there duality? When you probably when you look from one direction, there's duality. But if you see yourself at everywhere, at every point, then you have the double vision. It's people talk of it as double vision. Yeah. Yeah. Non-duality. Yeah. If you have, if your personality, if you take possession of the I, and you say, I am so and so, then that's kind of a duality kind of thing. But if you can do that and also see that you are everyone, or here's a thought, okay. If you see someone doing something and you're like, oh, I'd like to do that someday, or I'd like to have that, whatever they have, you can also know or tell yourself that, that person over there is me right now doing that thing, and I'm doing it because I'm right over there doing it. They are me. It's only the same. It's only the one being. It's the no, you have it now because they have it. So that's another way of looking at that also. You probably have that same thought also. Let's see. After this, but we aren't all equal. We're the same. Let me see. Check that out. But we aren't all equal. We aren't all the same truly. Yeah, physically we aren't all the same. We all have different experiences physically. But if you were to strip away your memory and just retain your awareness, and you do the same for that other person, you would get to the point where you and that person disappear, and there's only the one, only one of you, kind of thing. So yeah, in this, okay, there is a Earl Nightingale, EARL Nightingale. He's a speaker about certain things, and there are a bunch of YouTube videos called "The Strangest Secret" that it's good to listen to. I listen to it in my car. I burned it onto a CD, and there's also "Lead the Field." That's another series of talks, and he talks about what you do and what you get from that. So someone who has something, they've done certain things, then to get what they have, check those audio things out, and those videos on YouTube by Earl Nightingale. I recommend it. Good stuff. Also on YouTube, there's some MetaMusic, and I'm sure there are some other good binaural beats. But I just with the Hemi-Sync and the Monroe stuff, I got into that stuff in '96, and I've listened to it over the years. And there's a lot of good free stuff on YouTube by people who posted stuff from them, and even musicians who've created stuff using, and then who created. If you're a musician or whatever, and you have good music, and you think it would work with what the Monroe Institute does is they go out and they find hey, Chicago Realty now, yeah, the Monroe Institute partners with musicians, and then they blend their binaural beats into the musician's song, and then that creates a more powerful experience for an opportunity for people to enter a state, whatever state, good binaural beats. So check out MetaMusic on YouTube. And if you know any other types of brands of binaural beats or meditation music, post it in the chat for other, for me and other people to check out. So we're coming to a close here. Been in for an hour, chatting about out-of-body experiences. I might get on again over the weekend, and we have the chat on Discord. And this is about talking about out-of-body experiences. And if you want coaching on out-of-body experiences, this is the place to do it. I did this last week, and I'll probably do it again next Friday and maybe also on Sunday. Easiest way to go out of body, I'd say go to sleep like you normally would. Usually for me, it's around 8 or 9 at night. You can go to sleep meditating, like maybe do a little lay down and maintain awareness as long as you can. Either sit and meditate a little while, maybe for 20 minutes, and then go to sleep. Like do something and either fall asleep doing it or just do it and then go to sleep. And then wake up early in the morning, about 2 or 3 in the morning, and your mind will have had enough time to kind of recharge, but your body will still be tired at that and want to go to sleep. So, and stay up for about 10 to 15 minutes. Go to the bathroom, maybe drink some water. Don't drink too much, but drink a little water, get comfortable, and then lay down. So you get up, you stimulate your mind, you use the restroom and all that, and then you lay down. And don't let your covers touch your neck. For me, it was about keeping the covers chest and below, hands next to your body, like by your sides, palms facing up, and your feet separated by about 2 feet. If you do yoga, that's called a savasana position. And then just close your eyes, stay awake, but just maintain your awareness and pay attention to any movements and any energy movements. And do that for like an hour or two, and that's what I'd suggest is the best way to go out of body, because your body's tired, your mind's awake, and it's the right time of day. There's not a lot of light outside. Oh, you started to hear people talking in the other room. Maybe some comfortable earplugs, maybe. There's noise cancellation headphones. I never really use those. Cool. Okay, not real good. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've heard people talking a few times, and I decided not to listen to them anymore. So maybe that's something you can do, unless you can find out what they're saying to you, and then decide whether you want to listen to them. I don't know. I've also heard music too. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, keep at it. If you keep at it, different stuff is going to happen no matter what. Cool. Cool. It was the beginning of your getting out of body. Awesome. Well, even the fact that you're interested in this stuff is pretty amazing. There's so many people that, in my first couple out-of-body experiences, I was a ball of energy, and as I exited and re-entered, I heard a change in tone, just like you, a change in pitch, and that's normal. A lot of people have that. Later on, you can just notice the energy, and you can bypass that and just go. You can just either you can gently raise up out of body, or you can just be out of body, or you can flip out of body. Oh, you went through a hurricane. Cool. Cool. Any other questions, or anyone want to meet sometime in the future, or cool? Try again. Yeah, cool. Post. You can comment here. I'll get notifications anytime. I'll be able to see any comments here. So even if you get on this and you watch this at another time, you can always write, cool, yeah. You can always write stuff here and I'll check it out. And this is one of my favorite things to do. No, this is one of my, because when you get out of body and even being in that in-between state, it's such a fun place. So this is one of my favorite things to share. And you guys sharing your stuff inspires me because it's just awesome. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Have a great Friday night, you guys. A lot of dead people too. Hey, I've met a few dead people also. Are you happy with what you're experiencing? Okay, you can put out the thing that you want to meet a certain kind of people. Like in my first year of out-of-body experiences, I met like a lot of beautiful beings. Well, in my first and second years, I met a lot of beautiful beings. Thank you, Jared. First year of out-of-body experience was about getting out and learning to go out of body, and second year was about getting out of my house and meeting beings. I met a lot of beautiful, kind of angelic, kind beings. So you can set that as an intention, and we'll talk more about it. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks, you guys, for joining. It's been fun, a lot of fun. Okay, good night. Good luck to you. Have a great week. Okay, thank you.